thanks very much for joining us. Tonight is the launch of the Daingean GAA Strategic Plan 2021 to 2024. I don't know what's after happening there, but it looks good. We're still going. So we're joined tonight here with Daingean, who actually, in fairness, done the strategic plan. He headed up the committee for the strategic plan, so I'm just sort of here as chairman to introduce it, but I'm going to pass you over to Danny, if that's okay, and we'll come back and I'll thank everyone and all that crack at the end of it. So bring it to Danny.
Thanks, Sam. How's it going, everyone? Suppose tonight, the reason for tonight is we're launching our club plan, as Sammy said there, from 2021 to 24. I suppose it's been a process that's been going on almost, 2 years now, just due to COVID. But essentially what we wanted out of this was a roadmap for our club for the next couple of years. And basically something that had the input and kind of feedback from our community as well as just the club. So I suppose essentially the timeline of it, we started back initially in 2020 at the AGM, and we decided that it was the way forward for the club just to come up with a plan like this, just to guide everything basically for the next couple of years in a kind of a coherent manner. But of course, we all know with COVID hitting there around March of 2020, we decided to postpone the whole plan in anticipation that it might, I suppose we might have a window of opportunity later in the year, but as it transpired, we didn't. So we ended up postponing it for the full year until this year, till February of this year, and we went ahead then with our plan, and we decided to go down the whole online route, as people may know. So as part of the whole process, we set up a subcommittee, and we started to discuss the whole general process of the club plan. So we were ably assisted then by our GA facilitator, Miriam O'Callaghan, who gave us a great deal of help in the whole process. So we'll have Miriam on here in a few minutes just to discuss it. But basically from February we set up our committee, got our statistics of our club and all the kind of background information that you needed, such as club member numbers, basically like underage playing numbers, coaches, general population of the town and number of people in schools and all that kind of information. From there, after gathering that, we set up a survey, a club and community survey, which we sent out in late February of this year. We're delighted to say we had a great feedback from that survey. I think we had 120 people contributing to it, and there was some great kind of nuggets of information that we got. Like the survey itself, it was sent to people who are committee members, to players. We've had underage players responding to it, people who have no real affiliation to GA at all. So it was a whole community-based kind of approach and community-based feedback that came back to us on that. So with this information, we kind of gathered all that information, stored it, and we set about doing our workshop. So our community workshop was basically where we had a night. Initially it was meant to have been in our new facility here, but we had to go online. So we wanted to discuss basically all the topics, 6 kind of main topics of our club. And a lot of the information from our survey would have fed into this topic, so it would have kind of prompted us and our facilitators with queries or with ideas. So our 6 areas that we discussed were our coaching and games for adults, coaching and games for juvenile levels. Then we had our development and facilities, culture, community, PR, finance and fundraising, and then finally club administration. So on the night we had almost 70 people attending, from all different backgrounds as well. Those people were split into the different groups, so each group talked on 2 topics, so potentially community, culture and PR, and club development, say. So again, Miriam organised a lot of facilitators there from Croke Park that helped us out with it, and were absolutely fantastic on the night at getting the best out of everyone and kind of just getting conversation going and getting the best ideas that we could from our club and from our community. So from that, we've come up, there was a lot of kind of information that night that was collated, kind of different areas that the club wanted to focus on, different ideas. So that was further developed on then with our focus groups. So again, discussing the same topics, these focus groups were led to basically refine kind of each of these points that was raised at our workshop, and I suppose make them an action and an aim for our club to aim for, and basically discuss the merits of each of them. So from each of those areas, our focus groups decided on a list of recommendations for each of these areas. Those recommendations then were all pulled together. There was a kind of a coordination between them, that essentially you weren't providing one thing in one group that was clashing with another recommendation in another group. So that was basically done, that process done again at another meeting amongst the focus groups and the focus group leaders. And from there we basically developed our plan now that we have. So the plan itself discusses the whole process, basically what I'm after going through there. It lists out all our points, our goals that we want to achieve over the next couple of years. And then basically it just has our club history and how the whole process will be implemented, essentially. So like a lot of the work on our lists of aims has actually already been achieved since we've had our workshop, which is fantastic. So a lot of people might know with our facilities here, our new gym, our hall, lights on the pitch, we've achieved a lot of them so far, but there is a lot still to achieve in the next couple of years. So with the help of everybody, we will achieve all of those. But it's just, I suppose, a guide on what we do want to achieve in the coming years. So then as a club and committee, we'll be reviewing how we're getting on a quarterly basis as such, just to see how it's all progressing. And of course, I suppose the plan itself, it's not set in stone. It is a guide, and it can be changed and adapted to the needs of the club over the next couple of years. And again, as another plan will progress after 2024, those needs might change in that time, or even in the meantime. So it can change. But I suppose the most important thing is the plan. It's a document, and like anything, it can be just left on a shelf to gather dust. So the main thing is that all the actions are actually actioned, or as best as they can be. So to actually put things in place. But the plan itself, for anybody that's completed the survey, we have your email address. We'll email the PDF version to you. We're going to put hard copies of our booklet in Scully's, the post office, Darcy's, and have them here in the clubhouse. So we were initially hoping to have a launch night with it and basically hand out the booklets on the night, but that didn't materialise. So hopefully everyone will be able to get a booklet this way, and if not, you can contact the club. Just on that, I might just bring in Miriam, our facilitator here, who gave us lots of help over the whole process and who really drove it on with us. So I might just invite Miriam just to say a few words on the whole thing.
Thanks very much, Danny. And good evening to you all. I'm very pleased to be here representing the GA Club Planning Development Committee at national level. And I was very pleased to have been invited into your club to assist in the development of a strategic plan. Firstly, can I congratulate you and all the members of the Daingean GA Club, headed by your chairman, Sammy, and not alone the GA members, but also the community members who participated in the formulating of this plan. Secondly, I would like to congratulate you in the context of having the foresight to see the benefit of having a strategic plan. Oftentimes, chairpersons come in and committees come into place, and they have one or two ideas that they want to get through in their term. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is the best for the club. It may be at that particular time, but it may not be consistent with what has been done beforehand, or indeed what needs to be done into the future to sustain the club, to develop the club, and to ensure that it is the best that it can be. So that's what the strategic planning is about. It's about thinking where you are at, where you need to go, and how you're going to get there. And this booklet, when you see it, you will see it's very clear where Daingean GA Club is going. First of all, it's embedding itself within the community, and that's very evident to people when they will read the booklet, but it's also evident in their actions to date. I know that you have been awarded and renowned for your community support, particularly through COVID, but more recently you have also developed the facilities here to make them a community accessible development, which will enhance not alone your club but your community, and by doing that you will also ensure that you will retain and develop the club to make it a stronger club. During the course of the development of the plan, as Danny has already alluded to, we had the consultation process, and I would like to just acknowledge the work that Danny did. When I came into the plan, normally as a facilitator you come in at the very beginning, but I'll have to say that the committee here were ahead of themselves. They had done all the groundwork. They had obviously read the available documentation to them in supporting those that want to do a strategic plan. They had all their data, they knew the strengths and weaknesses, they had a fair idea of where they'd like to develop, but that wasn't good enough for them, and rightly so. They ensured that everybody had an opportunity to feed into the plan through the survey, and then ultimately through the facilitation night, which went online. And I'd have to thank all my co-facilitators who came on board that night to facilitate it remotely. And I think it's reasonable to say that it was a successful night, Danny, and that there were many valuable contributions made by individuals that have been taken on board, and I'm sure some of you will recognise your contributions within the strategic plan here tonight. So there's nothing left for me to say but well done. Congratulations. I've no doubt you are going to steer this club in a very strong position. You have a great emphasis on retention of players within your club, which is a huge issue, and probably more so within a club of your nature where you have independent teams. It's very important that they graduate into the club here following their completion of their term on the independent teams. So once again, congratulations, and I'll be watching Daingean Club to see how it's going. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Thanks for that. Yeah, you'll have to come back here.
Just before we go, folks, we've just a small presentation. Miriam Clare's going to make a presentation to Miriam now. Thank her for
Miriam, just to say thank you very much for all your efforts and all your hard work, for getting this plan together and helping everyone out with it. So well done and thank you.
Thanks very much, Miriam and Claire. So Sammy said we'll put you back onto him now for all the thank yous and the naming of people here now. So.
no, I'm well used to it, and don't mind me, I'd be well able to thank everyone. I do it all the time. There, folks, that's just to give you a look at what we're looking at. I suppose we didn't even show it at the start, my fault. That's what the plan is, that's the booklet. As Danny said, we're going to make them available, we're going to email them out to people in the next sort of couple of days. Danny, I think we'll get them emailed out to anyone that took part in it. If anyone wants a copy of it, you can contact me or the Facebook page or anywhere at all. We'll get it out to it. Danny's after handing me a list here. I can't read the writing now, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'll start off probably my thanks. You know, Danny, first of all, has been superb in what he did. He took on this project from day one when I got chatting to him, and his contribution, I really haven't had to do much with it. Just stand back, get out of the way and let him at it. Try not to stop him. I think the end product is an absolute fantastic piece of work for us. And as Danny said, the big thing is not to let it gather dust somewhere. It's to put every point, every little bit of it into action. There's nothing in that this club can't achieve and won't achieve. But it takes people like the committee here and Danny to push it on, drive it on and keep it going as well. So fair play to Danny, thanks very much. To Miriam came on board with us sort of day one as well. I think she was trying to avoid me in the first couple of phone calls. Didn't think she knew who I was or what I was up to. But once I got hold of her, we were going grand. Thanks to Paul Marsden on that. I think Paul deserves a lot of credit on that as well for us. No, thanks to Miriam. Miriam's been brilliant with us. She really has directed the whole sort of operations and been a great help to us on getting. It was such a complicated process. Danny makes it sound a bit simple there, but with everything going online, with us having to hold the focus groups, all that sort of stuff, it was a challenge from day one with the COVID. But I think, in fairness to Danny and the committee, they really stepped up to it. Again, there's an apology actually. Michael Daingean was supposed to be here for us tonight, and I know they gave us great support. Colin Cummins in particular was great to get us up and going, and I think that's where we got our idea, was from the Eton Derry one. I think that's where we first got a look at it. Colin very kindly gave us a copy of the Eton Derry strategic plan and told us the do's and the don'ts, the pitfalls, you know, what's brilliant, what's good, what's not. He gave us great guidance, and Michael, in fairness to him, the two guys have been great with us as well, driving us on and giving us a bit of support. There's a committee there that deserves a lot of credit. Now, I might leave one or two out, but anyways, can bear with me here if you can. You have Matt Corcoran. Matt's a long-time member of the club as well and been a great supporter of it. You have Tim Spellman, Debbie Maguire, Paul Marsden, Vinnie Ryan, John Cummins, Sean McAvoy and Keenan Coulden. And Stephen Greener as well in the corner. Yeah, Greener's hiding in the corner, but Greener's been a dinger as well. He's been there from the very start. And I think everyone in that group, they're all here hiding behind the camera. But, you know, we might get it if we get a look at them now in a minute. But it's been a great credit to them. They've worked tirelessly in the background. I was in WhatsApp groups and bits and pieces, and you could see them working so hard in it. So it's been a huge thanks to them. To all our sponsors who as well contributed and helped and gave us a bit of it and have always been there for the club. And there's a number of them out there. But, you know, hopefully we'll contact them in the next couple of days as well. And to Brosna Press. Brosna Press did the printing there. It's a fabulous job and they deserve a great bit of credit. Dermot took it on, got through the chairman's address, got rid of a good bit of the waffle out of the chairman's address and shortened it down to about a page there, which is grand. So thanks to them as well. I was forgetting someone. Oh yeah, focus groups on the night was absolutely brilliant. It was one of the best nights I've had as the chairman. The focus groups and the interaction between people, the good, the bad, the ugly came out that night, and it's great. And it definitely woke me as a chairman, and I think the committee up to some of the good things we're doing right, but there was definitely one or two bits that we were lacking. And the focus groups definitely brought us to that, and the survey gave us a great sort of insight into, while we in the inside thought everything was perfect, it wasn't. Not that I won't say that it wasn't, but there was definitely bits and pieces that we could definitely add to and improve on. So that was brilliant. I think I've nearly everyone thanked now. So I'm going to hand you back to Danny for a minute, and we're going to then give you a look at the rest of the committee. They're all socially distanced and hiding around the corner there. But we'll get Danny to do a bit of a spin there. So listen, thanks very much, folks. And if you need a copy of the plan, it's there for everyone. The whole community has contributed to it. You know, even people that filled out the surveys and chatting in my house, I know was great, because a number of ideas why they mightn't have gone onto a focus group, to definitely shared ideas. So thanks to the whole of the community and to the other clubs that contributed to it as well. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Ali. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Like Sammy said, just want to thank everybody, our focus groups, our club committee, everyone did the survey and everybody that attended the workshop and all our facilitators. So it's been a brilliant project and hopefully we'll have great outcomes on it there. So we're just going to do a quick whiz around here and just see a few of the committee members that helped out here on it. So first of all, there you have Matty there sitting in the corner. Thank you, Matty. Vinny, Ryan there. Thank you, Vinny. Sean McAvoy. Thanks, Sean. Stephen Green in the corner. Claire, our secretary, and Miriam. And then Sammy is holding the camera at the minute. Plenty of the plans there.
We can get rid of 200, so everyone get happy.
So yeah, so as we said there already, we're going to have the actual booklets in Scully's, Darcy's, the post office, and here in our clubhouse. And the PDF version will be made available on our social media platforms here, and we'll also email it out to anybody that completed the survey. So once again, thanks very much, and slán go fóill.